meeting. And then if you will take on the oath of office, and then I can do the roll call if that's acceptable to you.
That sounds great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, Patrick, we're all set to go.
Okay, I'm good.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome to the Hillsborough Township Sign Review Committee Reorganization and Regular Meeting of March 29th, 2021. The meeting will be conducted virtually. All commission members and staff will participate remotely. The public will be given an opportunity to participate remotely through the advertised Zoom link or optional phone number identification in the public meeting notice. Application documents have been made available through https://hillsborough.newjersey.civilclerk.com in accordance with the public meeting notice. Now we'd like to conduct the salute to the flag. Is there a flag that we have, Fred? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
States
States
of
of
America,
America,
to the
to
republic
the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with
with
liberty
liberty and justice
for all.
for all.
For all.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, this meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, otherwise known as the Sunshine Law. Notice of this meeting has been communicated to the Hillsborough Beacon and the Carrier News, to the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board at the Township Municipal Building, and posted on the Township website.
I think it's like it's a wick through while we're sitting down here.
Additional notice has been provided to communicate that this meeting is being conducted according to the governor's executive orders pursuant to PL 2020, Circuit 21, Chapter 21, Chapter 11, which allows for meetings to be conducted electronically. Mr. Wright, if you will conduct the oath of office, please. All members present, you're familiar with the oath of office. Our new committee member, Mr. Wright, will conduct the oath.
Okay, so I have Kevin Sweeney, I have Charles, and I also have Matthew. Anthony, however, is not called in as of yet.
Yes, he's here. Mr. Wright, he is here. He's on the line. That's his phone number down the bottom.
Okay, great. So
Let's just
Anthony
make
as well.
sure. Anthony, can you unmute yourself so you can take the oath, please? Anthony, can you acknowledge they're here, please, and unmute yourself with on the phone?
That's Tony. Just say Tony or Joe.
Yeah, no, he just texted me he's on the line, so.
Okay, so when
No.
I do this, Fred, do you want me to just say aye and have each member state their name?
Yes, that's fine. They can all state it all at one time. I think that's what we've done in the past, correct, Patrick?
Correct.
Okay, so tell me when to begin.
Go ahead, you can go.
right.
Anthony's on, he's listening.
Great. All right, I state your name, please.
Kevin
I,
Street,
Matt Gizzy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear truth, faith, and allegiance
to the same and to the governments
to the same and to the governments
established in the United States
established in
established in the United States
and the state under the authority of the people,
and the state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform the same
and justly perform the same
duties of the office of
duties of the office of
commission members
commission member
of the Sign Review Committee.
For the sign.
of the Design Review Committee.
Seat, you could state your number, which I can give to you if you need.
C2.
All right.
Seat number 3.
Seat number
Okay.
4.
To the best of my ability, so help me God.
To the best of my ability, so help me God.
God.
God should have nothing to do with this. That's already taken care of.
All right, well, welcome members back for another year. Thank you, Committeeman Wright, for introducing our members and doing the oath. Very good job. Also here, we'll take roll call next. Mr. Sweeney,
Here.
Mr. Regard,
Here.
Mr. Gizzi.
Here.
Mr. Senator Ramita is absent. Mr. Delcourt also not here. And Committeeman Wright, present. And Mr. Ferrer is present.
Patrick, I have him on the line, but he's telling me he's here. I don't know what he's doing with his phone. He can't get on, but he's here.
Okay.
He is listening and speaking.
So Fred Kinsler from our IT department is also present, and I'm Patrick Gorman, also present at the meeting. Our next step will go into the reorganization of our meeting, and we will be electing the election of the chairman. Do I have a motion for the election of chairman?
I nominate Kevin Sweeney.
Do I have a second?
Yes, I'll second that. Sorry, Kev.
That's all
Sorry.
right. Retain the title.
You did such a good job.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay? Mr. Sweeney, you are now our chairman, and the meeting is turned over to you at this point, unless you want me to continue with the rundown.
I wouldn't mind you continuing.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney, for your another year of being our chairman of the Senate Review Committee.
It's the large pay scale is what motivates you.
Next, we have election of our vice chairman.
I'm gonna motion Chuck because I did him in last year.
I'll second that.
I need to confirmation that the pay raises was approved.
Yeah. You
Motion
can have double my salary.
by Township Committee, but we'll advise. So, all yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any nays? Chuck, congratulations being our vice chairman. Motion for next minute is for our motion of secretary.
Should we do Nathan since he isn't here?
Well, Nathan is a alternate member, so
We wanted to move him up. This is his second term.
He's ineligible because he's an alternate member, but it's between Mr. Gizzi and Mr. Ferrer.
Well, give Anthony a chance then. I don't hate to see Matt get stuck with it all the time. I'll nominate Anthony.
Since he can't talk, that's pretty good.
Okay,
He just told me no way. I'm trying to get him unmuted. Anthony, you have to hit *6, not pound. Star, not pound. *6. I don't know. He said he did, and it's not working. I don't know.
then, so Mr. Gizzi, do you want to take one for the team this year?
Sure.
Sure. All right, nomination for Mr. Gizzi for secretary.
I have a dual nomination. One, I'll second him, and two, Chuck and I owe him a dinner of his choice.
Count me in.
Any nays? No nays seen. So the next resolutions that are before you are for the resolution for adopting the rules of order, the designation of the official newspapers, the resolution for fixing the charge of notice of meetings, the resolution for setting the schedule for the meetings, and the resolution of the open meeting policy. Have all the members that are here been able to read those articles, and do you have any questions about those articles?
I've read them and I had no questions. They're what we've been using in the past.
And then we're also comfortable with the 6:30 meeting time overall,
Yes.
Yeah,
and the schedule works out for everybody, correct?
Yes, it does.
correct.
Mr. Chairman, my recommendation is that the sound review committee can vote on all these policies as a whole instead of collecting as a roll call for each individual one, if there's no objections from the other membership, from the membership.
I don't think we have any objection on doing that.
Can I get a first motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve all the resolutions as we've just previously stated.
That's not why we have schools.
And can I get a second, please?
I'll second that.
All in favor? We're all in favor?
All in favor?
Yes.
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 No nays. So this concludes our regular scheduled meeting. Okay, Committee Right, thank you again for joining us this evening. The regular scheduled meeting. Chuck, we need a motion to adjourn the reorganization.
A motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Second.
Just
All in
for
favor?
everybody, this is Fred Kindler. Just make sure you stay on. We're going to use the same Zoom for the next meeting, so nobody drop off.
The meeting has, the reorganization meeting has ended at 6:50 p.m.
I'm gonna get home as fast as I could.
Fred, real quick, Anthony, was he able to log on or no?
Yeah, I want to say he's still driving. I asked him to try coming back in. He can hear everything and he's texting me as we go. So,
Definitely not texting and driving, but
or talking through the phone somehow to me. I'm not sure where he is, but I asked him to try to drop off and come back in, and maybe that'll help. He said he
Sure.
hit *6 a bunch of times and it's not working.
sure. So we still have a quorum for this meeting, so we can still move forward.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we will, Mr. Chairman and the rest of the membership, if you're ready, we'll call the next meeting to order. Mr. Gizzi, I see you, Chuck, Mr. Gizzi, okay, and Mr. Sweeney. Where'd he go? There he is, okay.
Okay.
Patrick, just for your record, he just dropped off now, so I'll let you know when he comes back in.
Sure thing, and then we'll note that as part of the record.
Perfect.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, if you're ready, we can start the next meeting.
Okay. Start from the top then, Patrick, again with the call to order and salute to the flag and all that.
Yeah, so we can do the call to order. We can do the salute to flag if you wish again. And then if you want me to do the public meeting announcement, I can.
That'd be great.
We already did the oath of office, and then we can move
Excuse me,
on.
Patrick, just to let you know, Anthony is here now.
Okay, great.
Thank you. That was painful, but thank you. I am back.
Thank you,
Well-
Anthony.
Welcome back, Secretary Anthony.
No, I saw it. Matt, thank you. Mr. Gizzi, I appreciate that. I apologize, but I was on a phone with the mayor and an attorney, and I was driving, so I tried to leave work on time. That didn't happen. So I am with you. So thank you.
Sure. So we can start the regular meeting at this point. It is 6:52 p.m. Mr. Chairman, I turn it over to you.
Call the meeting in order. This meeting will be conducted virtually. All commission members and staff will be participating remotely. The public will be given the opportunity to participate remotely through the advertised Zoom link or optional phone number identified in the public meeting notice. Application documents have been made available at the Hillsborough website in accordance with the public meeting notice. Do we salute the flag again, or are we good from the previous?
We can do it again. We can be extra patriotic if you wish. If you wish.
I pledge allegiance to the
The
flag,
flag,
United States of
of
America,
America,
to the republic
republic for which it
which
stands,
stands one nation,
nation, under God, indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting,
You want to do the announcement then?
yeah, I can do it real quick. This meeting has been duly advertised according to Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, Sunshine Law. Notice for this meeting has been communicated to the Hillsborough Township Hillsborough Beacon and the Courier News, to the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board at the Township Municipal Complex, and posted on the Township's website. Additional notice has been provided to communicate that this meeting is being conducted according to the Governor's Executive Order pursuant to PL 2020, Chapter 11, which allows for meetings to be conducted electronically. We'll move now to the roll call. Mr. Ferrero. He was just there, so.
Unmute yourself, Anthony.
Now we'll come back. Mr. Sweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Regari,
Yes, here.
Mr. Gizzi,
Here,
Mr. Santa Romita is absent. Mr. Duckhorn is absent, and Committeeman Wright also left.
Present.
He's here, Patrick.
I'm sorry, he's still here. My mistake.
All right.
So also here is Pat Gorman, myself from our Township's Planning Department, and Frank Kinsler from our Township's IT Department.
I am here.
So for our regular meeting business items, Mr. Chairman, we have consideration from our meetings from our last meeting, which was our last and only meeting of last year, from May 27, 2020. There is a reorganization and the meeting minutes from that meeting.
So motion to approve those meeting minutes.
second,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
No nays. Any business tonight from the floor, from the public that is not on the agenda? Fred, I turn it over to you.
Okay. Anybody from the public have any matters not on the agenda for this evening? If you do, please raise your hand. I see none. Chairman, you can proceed, Mr. Sweeney.
Okay. We've got several applications, Patrick. I don't know who's batting first out of all of these.
Sure. We have Pet Supplies Plus first on the agenda.
Okay.
They're located at block 200.01, lot 1, otherwise known as Nelson's Corner at 601 Route 206. Applicant is seeking a sign waiver for an alteration of a sign design standard to utilize green lettering instead of red in the property in the TC Town Center zone. But we have a participants tonight here for the applicant.
That's Mr. Getzey, right? Or Mr. Getz?
Yeah, is that my cue to start talking?
Mr. Chairman, you ready for him to start?
Yes. Yes, go ahead, Patrick.
There's your cue.
Okay, thanks, guys. So yeah, my name's Patrick Goetz. I work at Trademark Sign. Like Mr. Gorman just said, there's a new tenant going in there, Pet Supplies Plus. We submitted for a zoning permit. We were denied. from my understanding, well, let me back up. It's at the north end of the property. It's it used to be Pet Value. It's now changing to Pet Supplies Plus. We are looking to install a sign that has green faces. And from what I understand, the Nelson's Corner sign, I guess it's the resolution of the, forget what they call it, for this space, they're only allowed to have red letters in there. For this tenant, it's a corporate requirement for all of their franchisees to have green lettering. That's what we're going for here. I did notice over in this shopping center, there was at least 3 or 4 others that I saw that did have different color lettering than the red. Of course, the Pet Value that was there, as you can see in this photo. I believe there's a Verizon, a Hallmark, and a tanning space in there that all had different colors. We just really want it to be green, and I'm not sure what else I need to say here. I know there's a couple other requirements that I could address, but I think that's the big one, and I'm supposed to address that one first.
I guess the your one main thing is the color. Size is all in conformity. Is that correct? As far as the
yes.
overall?
As per the zoning officer, as long as our sign was under 45 square feet, the existing one, the Pet Value was also just under 45 square feet. This sign with Pet Supplies Plus the little hash and the dog wash is 44.75 square feet. So I believe we're under the threshold.
Okay. There's a letter indicating from the Heller Group, which is the landlord, indicating that they've reviewed the signage Everbright project number 440785. You've submitted to our office for above noted location. The design meets with our approval such that you can apply for permits approvals from the Township of Hillsborough. So it seems like as far as the landlord's concerned, there isn't a concern for it. And the size seems to, as you're stating, Patrick, that it's within conformity here. So I'm not sure if my other members have any other questions or issues. I know the last thing that that wasn't displayed in it is obviously a comment in terms of illumination. Did you have any specifics on that?
Yes, so we reduced the overall size of the sign when we originally submitted. It were originally 33-inch letters. We went down to 23 inches, and we adjusted I think the number as well as the manufacturer of the type of LED modules that are going to go in each one of these letters to accommodate a less than, I have it right here. Hang on, let me just make sure I don't say this wrong.
It's a 5-foot candle, 2 feet
yeah,
away.
5-foot candle. So basically within 2 feet. So we had the engineer draw up all the information. I think I'll have to probably submit something for you guys to see his work. He sent me that it's 9.83 exactly at the face, and 2 feet from the face, it's 4.42 foot candles. And I'm not sure if this document that you have up there, sir, that other one you just had up, if that has the number right on there. I have a new drawing that our engineer made up that you do not have yet that shows that. My question would be, do you need any more information other than an engineer drawing like this with that listed, or do I need to have some kind of photometric design as well?
I think we're usually good with just a stipulation on approval that condition is met.
Okay.
The only thing we don't allow is green. That's the only, no, I'm kidding. We seem to have gone by, and I think Anthony would agree, we've gone by the color scheme problem with people and identifying their logos, so to speak, that it's kind of diminished a little bit, the color of things on the signs.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks. I was just I'll lower my hand now, and I apologize, guys, for the phone, the mutings, the videos. Finally, I think it all working after I rejoined for the second time. But I just wanted to make sure that that was the color that the applicant wanted, because as you mentioned, we're about making sure that the branding and the logos and things are being used versus staying with the red and green as you see throughout town. So I just wanted to make sure that was the color that the applicant wanted, and that was part of their branding.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the green is correct for the Pet Supplies Plus.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other input or questions regarding this application?
No.
Chuck, any concerns?
No, I was just going over everything, and the landlord letter clearly approves the sign, the specs, the colors. So the landlord approves it, and the sizing conforms to our requirements. The issue between red and green, I think precedent's already been made where the other colors were blue. I think we should approve it.
So great. So I make a motion to approve it. Just Patrick, with the condition that you supply that information in regards to the illumination of it.
Absolutely. Should I be sending that directly? Will you memorialize that in a document after this is over, where to send it, or just send it to the planning board secretary?
Yeah, once this, if this application is approved, we'll provide further information at that point through a letter. And then when you get the letter, you include that with your revised plan at that point. And there's, like you said, you already have the illumination criteria that's already on the new plan. So you submit that new plan with the letter, with our modification form, and we'll process that with our application number that was already done.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Yep.
So with the motion to approve with conditions, look for a second.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
All right. One thing, we had to open up the public portion first.
Anyone from the public have any comments on this application? Raise your hand. Seeing none, I think you can proceed, Chairman and Patrick.
All right. Then I had all yes, so motion passes. Mr. Goetz, thank you. Our office will be in contact with you in the next, hopefully, week or so.
Thank you all very much. Take care.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Take care.
Thanks.
We have next, Patrick.
Okay.
At Iron Peak.
Next application, Iron Peak / Apex Signs. Located at block 175, lot 23.01, otherwise known as 137 Mountain View Road. The applicant is seeking a sign waiver for a sign area where 40 square feet is permitted and 57.55 square feet is proposed. And a sign waiver to alter the sign style from an identification sign to a directory style on a property governed by the BELLE MEAD GSA redevelopment plan. And these are for 2 freestanding signs. Mr. Chairman, I turn it over to you.
How much of a change other than the name of the sign are we looking at with this?
So we're looking at a change from a identification sign for the development to a directory of the main tenant plus additional tenants on site, plus a sign size increase and technically a design change. Roughly, the original signs were approved as part of the site plan earlier, I think last year or the year before. There's been some changes with the applicant, which I'll let them explain at the moment. They changed their name of the overall company, and they just need a sign change to basically exhibit other tenants that will be occupying the site.
All right, I guess it's time to let Mr. Wilkie speak then, I assume, correct?
Sure, or Mr. Green, I guess. I don't know who's going to take
Oh, yes.
the head of that.
that might be more appropriate. Mr. Green, did you want to fill us in a little bit on everything you've done?
Well, I know they want the tenant on the sign, and that's the main reason for their application. So I know Mr. Wilk had something prepared as far as, supporting reasons why. So I'll let you take it from here, Greg.
Sure. We did change the name from Apex Sports and Events to Iron Peak Sports and Events. That was approved through the state. And also it is a complete LLC name change. RWJ Barnabas Health is a tenant now in the building. They were not even on the radar when we went back in 2018 to the planning board. And since the planning board, they approached us and now they are a tenant. Cliffhanger Entertainment is actually not a separate LLC. It is a brand. It is a name, just a program name under the Iron Peak Sports and Events LLC company. So we are seeking a trademark on that name. Should hear hopefully favorably in the next couple of weeks to get that trademark. Cliffhanger Entertainment is specific for the branding of our family entertainment center, which includes a ninja, the wall climbing, the arcade.
Mr. Wilkie, I'm going to share the screen of the signs that you've sent into the township so everybody can understand and see what you're talking about.
Sure.
There you go, Chairman. You can see what Mr. Wilkie was speaking of. I assume you guys all had this, but may help in the discussion.
I don't think I did, so thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Oh, you know what? It was stuck behind another sheet. I didn't even see it. Yep. But thank you for pointing that out.
Yep, no problem.
Greg, is there more than Cliffhanger? Did you say there was one more thing that might be up there?
No, there's the three. There's Iron Peak Sports and Events. The triangle slash mountain there is the logo for the Iron Peak brand.
Okay.
And then RWJ Barnabas, and then the third is Cliffhanger Entertainment.
Okay. When there's two signs, it's supposed to be, Patrick, for two frontages of. That's the one thing I'm not understanding is there's two different locations.
There's two, if I could just answer that.
Yeah.
There's two entrances into the complex. One directly from Mountain View Road, which is on the southeast. Yeah, there you go. Location A is right off of Mountain View Road.
Okay.
And then location B is off of the entrance into Mountain View Park.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Both of the original signs were approved by the planning board.
And I will say the architecture design has changed. We believe it meets better the architecture of the existing building. The previous one that was approved with the planning board had a similar design to a canopy that was originally proposed to be over top of the entrance into Iron Peak. But we have not built that. We don't intend to build that canopy right now. And this definitely meets better the architecture and the 90-degree angles that you see out there.
Okay. And I'm assuming probably, again, just from reading here and the comments that we usually concern ourselves with in terms of the lighting and any impact it might have on surrounding areas, that it's all within the guidelines of the township, the 5 candle and all that good stuff.
That's right.
Okay.
I'm sure it pales in comparison to having 3 soccer fields lit up for the night, right, Greg?
We are actually addressing that. It's interesting you say that because I've been in touch with several of the residents in town along Oxford, and we're going to be making some changes to those lights and hopefully correcting 90% of that issue.
That's great news.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Chuck, probably as far as illumination, you just hit it on the head here. This is a minor detail, and its setting isn't in any place that would really impact too much, and the design looks attractive. So
Yes.
it's one more nice little.
Yeah, very aesthetically pleasing. I think they're
It is.
well done. The locations are perfect.
Patrick, you see anything else we should have concern with, or does it seem, it seems to me from what I'm reading in comments that you've provided before, it seems to be meeting the conditions.
Yeah, they can meet. They're doing everything that they can for this. The one benefit of having this, because it's in a redevelopment zone, typically they have their own plans, their own style and stuff, and sometimes changes are a little harder when there is a redevelopment plan in play. The benefit here is that the redevelopment plan gave the design review committee some help here, where it linked it directly to the township ordinance. And by doing so, it gave you guys jurisdiction to make some of these minor corrections. The only technicality that I say is with the lettering. I believe Peggy Ferrin was the designer of Lumark sign is here. She can attest to that. If they meet the directory style lettering font types or sizes, and if not, it's just an additional waiver at that point. She can make some additional comments about legibility if it's acceptable or not.
Yeah, hey Patrick, this is Peggy here from Lumark Signs, and just a small correction, I was not the designer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's quite all right. I'm the project manager. But in reference to the tenant size of lettering, we're viewing RWJ Barnabas and Cliffhanger as logos. Those the type and the style is all their logo essentially. So I don't know if that would then matter in terms of the size. Technically,
it could go either way. It's a gray area.
Okay.
I leave it to the board to decide if it's acceptable. The one thing that should be attested to is that is the size being shown legible for passersby to easily distinguish, or is this something that they have to squint or slow down to really see?
Well, no, our view is that when it is in a logo format, it's much more easily identifiable.
No further questions?
Which lettering are you worried about? The two logos? Because they seem to be insignificant in terms of the sign itself if we're worried about lettering.
Just a technicality, Mr. Chairman.
Well, I mean, again, and I like to hear comments from my fellow committee members, but when you look at the magnitude of the size of Iron Peak, I think the size is kind of dwarfed by comparison. So it's not so much of an exuberant standout or anything like that. But Chuck or Matt, do you guys have any opinion on that?
I agree. I have no issue.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, the sign being so aesthetically pleasing, even though the font for this Tenants is a little different from, Iron Peak, I don't think it takes away from, the sign itself and the appropriate size, conforming to the requirement. So I'm looking at all three of the locations, and I wouldn't have put them anywhere else. So I think they're spot on.
And Kevin, Kevin just forgot about me again. See, when I join anyway, whether it's
Oh yeah, you know what it was? It was the
my voice. It doesn't even matter. You see, I'm just going to log off now, Pat. So
No, you're one of us. So
I think, yeah, I think the locations make perfect sense, and it's obviously a change with the name. And I think this actually, the signage and what they proposed tonight is actually even better than original with the planning board, as Mr. Wilkie had mentioned.
So we have no other questions or conditions. Could I get a motion to approve this sign as it's been supplied to the township here?
Just need, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, just need public comment first.
Oh, is there? Sorry,
It's okay.
I can't see him.
Any public comments?
Fred?
Anybody from the public have any comments on this application? If you do, please raise your hand. I see none, Chairman, and Patrick, you can proceed.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the signs as we've seen and discussed.
I'll second the motion.
Oh, yes?
Yes.
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 Any nays? No nays. Motion passes for the redesign and the sign area, and we'll just do those two waivers.
And the crack of dawn.
Signs approved.
Okay, so I was out of here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Greg. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Like Greg.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
So the next application tonight is for Hillsborough Medical, located at 182 lot 38.01, 349 Route 206. Applicant is seeking a waiver for a sign area where 40 square feet is permitted and 60 is proposed on property in a highway safety zone. So this would be a sign that's or 50% more than what's permitted. Participating on this application is Mr. Green and Peggy Farron from Lumark Signs, and the owner applicant, Mr. Patel from OM Realty, is on the line too. Over to you.
Do we have any sample of the sign itself that's going up or it located on the property other than the graphics here? Has anything been done to, because that's, I'm not seeing that unless I'm missing something, I don't see that I have anything in that regard.
There should be
I will share what I have from the township.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. This I don't have.
Okay, this is what I have from the town, from what was submitted. Mr. Patel, is that an accurate, or Mr. Green, is that accurate drawing?
I think this is what was submitted. I think speaking to Peggy recently and Philip regarding the tenant signage on the front, I think they advised that to simplify it, and I think they have a updated version of this that I did see on an email. I'm sure that they forwarded it to you.
To the committee. So there was some discussion about the sign and potential redesign that we received today. I haven't been able to review the sign in greater detail, unfortunately, due to the course of the day.
Patrick, do you want me to show what was sent so they have an idea? Not saying it's official. It's up to you. You tell me.
The only aspect is that it hasn't. If we're required to show things 2 days ahead of time for any person that wants to participate and comment on the sign, there's a potential conflict with that. But that's the only thing that I can advise to at this point. They would have to at least show what the sign dimensions and attest to what's going on with the sign. It's up to the board if they want to see it. But it becomes a public view type of thing in the Zoom electronic speaking category, if it's acceptable or not. It may have to be considered for a vote at the next meeting.
Sure. I'll leave it up to the chairman to let me know if he wants to see it or how they want to proceed with that.
Well, it sounds like has to, to approve it, not know what's going up is a little bit of an issue. Thinking, in terms of well, maybe based on the sign and structure, but how do we approve the internal part of it?
Peggy, can you offer any further comments about the sign details at this time, or how your client wishes to proceed, or Mr. Patel?
Yeah, I think the initial thought with Peggy and Philip when we planned it was to have individual tenant signage on the highway frontage sign. But as we spoke further and understanding that there's going to be 2 lanes for the coming off the bypass and the turnaround, the thought was to simplify it just with the number of the building 349 in Hillsborough, medical and professional building, the same sign, but without the individual tenant signage on the highway frontage. And then on Doctor's Way, there's going to be a second sign that will have the individual tenant panels on it. So that was the new thought, and it made more sense just because of the speed of cars coming off the bypass. The amount of patients that turn onto Doctor Ways tend to be mostly seniors, and them to identify the building and be able to quickly make the turn into Doctor's Way. We thought we'd simplify the signage and not put individual tenant panels on the highway frontage. So I think the change was to get rid of tenant, keep the sign the same size that we proposed on our submission, but to not have individual tenant signs and just to have the name of the building and the number.
So identification sign instead of a directory sign.
Correct.
So the components of the application that was considered is for a sign that's greater than 40 square feet, which is still being done. Instead of being an identification sign, I'm sorry, a directory sign, it's a site identification sign. As I stated, we need to have these things 2 days ahead of time for examination, and it's also posted to the public. My concern is that there was not enough time granted for anyone who wanted to comment to see what is happening and to comment on tonight, even though it's just a sign. The electronic gauge, that's the best advice I can offer at this point to the committee.
Yeah, that's my concern too. I don't want to delay this gentleman any longer, but we don't really have a change of pace here. We don't have a prepared thing to make a decision on, and I'm in agreement with you. If we're having public potential comment on something that we have nothing to show, it makes it a little bit difficult to do something like that.
There is a rendering provided. They did provide to our office. I trust what's going, but the applicant says it is what's happening. But like I said, at the same time, if someone looked at the civic clerk website over the weekend and they didn't see any issue with it, but there's an issue with it tonight, then for any new reason, then it can be theoretically it can be challenged.
Well, I guess my feeling is the facility's been there for a while now, so it's not a new facility. So there is local awareness of it. We could certainly, try to put it on the agenda for next month and get them set, but it'd be nice if it was a prepared application with its current change, because it's kind of like a last minute change. And now we have to make a decision on it, which doesn't seem to pass the test.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So
that's so be on the docket for next month.
Yeah, we can schedule everyone's schedule. Is it okay as of this point?
Yeah, I mean, I would obviously like to get him moved along too. Just like I said, and it's kind of a unfortunate thing but it's you have to do it, but it's this way it gets past everything, and we're not having something be contested at a later date. So it puts you back 30, but hopefully it doesn't set you back longer if we proceeded in the wrong manner.
Sure.
But everything else seems, I mean, again, input from you all, but everything else seems, you know, size-wise appropriate for what you're going under now with this 2-lane thing and being blocked off and all that other stuff. Business like that could use a little help of getting people to them, just because now they have to reroute the traffic just to get to you.
So Patrick, given that they're going to back this up, this is Fred Kinsler, IT. Do we want to give the board an opportunity to see what may come in the application in a month when they complete it, so they have an idea and can quickly get through it? I assume that would be okay, because they're going to get a full application again anyway, correct?
No, we'll provide that. We'll provide that at that point to the board. In case there's any other changes that need to be done that we can.
They want to make
care of it at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so the board. So does the board want to make a motion to schedule that to the next meeting?
Patrick, Mr. Green had asked a question while you were speaking. Sorry.
I was just wondering, was the size approved? I know we don't see the design yet, but the size itself going from 40 to 60. And then we'll just leave the design itself. We're seeing it being the last thing needing to be approved.
I think we'll probably do all of it at one shot, but again, speaking with the rest of the members here, it looks proportionate when you see it on the site and you see the silhouettes next to it and the indifference of the traffic and, you know, speed and change of traffic, that it'd be beneficial. And being that some of this stuff is medical, which is important to people, I wouldn't have a problem. It's ironic that everybody goes for the 50% bigger that we're allowed, but in the same breath, it still looks okay. So I'm okay with it. But again, Matt, Chuck, Anthony, any thoughts with that?
Yeah, I think it's appropriate with where they're trying to put it, and especially with the changes.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So that, hopefully, Mr. Green, that'll answer your question. We should be good with the size. Just, you know, knowing what's going to be on there would be the only thing that we needed to address. And the rest of the conditions, you know, as far as illumination and all the other standard things.
Correct. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
So does the board want to make a motion to reschedule this application to the next available meeting? Which
Yes.
will be the next meeting at this point.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion, as Patrick stated, to reschedule for next available meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
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 All right. So I guess I'll be in touch with Peggy and Mr. Green in the meantime.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Every time.
Thank you.
Organized. So our latest application this evening is for a carriage farm located at block 200.10 lot 4, otherwise known as 2 Clerico Lane. The applicant is seeking a sign waiver to allow one additional freestanding sign than was permitted by the sign manual on a property in the GC Gateway C zone. Participating on this call is Susan Clerico, who's the applicant owner of the subject property. Mr. Chairman, I turn it over to you.
Okay. This is not, just for clarity for me, this is not on road frontage. Is this internally as you come into into your site itself? Or is this something that's right on Amwell Road?
No, it's at the intersection actually of Clerico Lane and the entrance to our parking lot. So no, it's not on Amwell Road.
Mr. Chairman, I'll share a screen that I think helps show the location.
Oh, thank you.
So here's again, these are township documents that were submitted. So here, there shows the sign location.
And then Amwell Road will be to your right.
Correct.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Got it.
Okay. Makes sense.
Patrick, what concerns would we have with this? Because this seems pretty cut and dry. Is there anything that I'm missing along the way?
Yeah, so this is technically an amendment of the sign manual. I'll let the applicant speak on to the reasons of why they need to change to the application. But effectively, if you do approve this, this will be a change to the sign manual. The one key thing to pull out of this is that this is going to be a bigger sign than what's already approved as a part of this. And judging by the location, I would just say a little bit of information should be provided that the proposed sign, though it's bigger, won't interfere with the line of sight of vehicles entering or exiting the parking lot.
Is this your sign manual, Patrick, or is this the township sign manual you're referring to?
This is a sign manual that was approved for Carriage Farm as part of their last board application that happened in, I think, 2019, correct me if I'm wrong, Sal.
That's correct. Nope, June of 2019.
Okay, so I guess
So,
you get a chance to sit here, explain to us what you wanted to do.
sure. Like Patrick mentioned, in 2019, we submitted a site plan amendment and at the same time submitted a sign manual for the entire property. There were 3 signs that were going to be located at each along Clerical Lane at each driveway. They were directional signs. We had them sized at 4 square feet each. The sign that I'm asking to amend, that we'd like to make it 8 square feet. It's the first sign you see as you come down Clerical Lane. It's a directional sign, and given that we now have 2 new businesses that will be opening soon on the property, I wanted to be sure that that sign was large enough, the lettering was large enough, so people were directed to the correct building. It was recommended by the sign designer to make that bigger. I'd also mention it is going where our current tenant directory signage, which is 5 square, well, nope, how big is it? It's considerably larger. I can't remember off the top of my head how large the tenant directory sign is. I believe it's 20 square feet. So this sign that I'm asking to put here is considerably smaller than what is currently there. It's also out of the site triangle. But I do need it a little larger than 4 square feet just to be sure that people coming off of Amwell Road down Clerical Lane are directed properly where to go on the site.
Yeah, there's no way you could get a directional and have it 4 feet, that's for sure. You need binoculars to read it.
Yeah.
So we're asking for it to increase from 4 to 8.5 square feet.
Patrick, is there any limitation on this? I know we always have that 50% kind of up, but is this fall within that or not within those guidelines at all?
Well, they're asking for a change of sign, so this would be considered an extra freestanding sign on the property. So, I mean, if they wanted to go up to 40, if they want to go, I think
a lot bigger, they could.
They could go a lot bigger, they could. We're just adjusting this to make this reasonable for them as they realize that this is a more important sign on the site. We have additional buildings and different lots to go into at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's important to have a sign that you could read as you're driving. So having a 4 square foot sign makes no sense.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially with adding the businesses. So
yeah,
since where it's going to be positioned.
And there's no site issue, or is there a site issue with anything as far as it doesn't look like it's blocking traffic with its setback as far as visual?
It sits outside of the site triangle. It's also on a hill. There's a bit of a hill there. So as you're coming down the driveway from the parking lot, the sign is above your vehicle. So you have a clear line of sight as you're exiting the property.
Yeah, again, size-wise seems like a non-issue, because if you go over to some of the other developments like Eileen Court, they'll have, bigger places and they'll have tons of directory signs of, sufficient to show where everybody is. So I'm not seeing where that is a concern, or if it doesn't have a visual blockage. I'm not sure much else that we have to concern ourselves with, unless I'm missing anything here.
I don't believe you are.
Okay. Anything from you two other fellows? Are we looking good?
No, we're looking good. I think based upon, the new businesses and going down Clerical Lane, it's important to have a good identification there. There's existing offices, to the right, and people need some direction right there. So I think it's a good location. And like Sue said, it's up on the hill, so I can't see it affecting the site, pulling in and out of either Clerical Lane or the driveway for the existing building. So I think it's spot on.
Okay. Is there any lighting with this at all or not? Or is this just going to be a directional sign?
No, there's no lighting.
Okay, so that's no issue there either. Okay. Anything else from anybody or?
No.
Yes,
Yeah, when's the brewery open?
I believe they're shooting for a soft opening in May.
Thanks, Sue.
I get that question a lot.
They tuned to the town's e-news for a ribbon cutting ceremony.
We'll be there.
That one Anthony's going to make.
We'll have that part of the sign lit up.
I guess motion to approve the new directional sign.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Thank you
Motion
very much.
passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Thanks,
Have a
Sue.
nice evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got through everything this evening. Thank you for everyone for joining our first sign review committee Zoom call. To my knowledge, we'll be doing this format going forward unless something else changes with the municipal rules or the governor's rules at the same time. Our next meeting is April 26th. As discussed, we'll put on the application for Hillsborough Medical. I know it's a technicality. We might have another application on that evening at the same time to make it worthwhile. If you guys don't have any further questions, I want to thank Committeeman Wright for joining us this evening and doing an excellent job.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome. You're welcome to come back anytime.
Yes, please.
Excuse me, Patrick, it's Fred from IT. I just have one concern with, and Anthony, you can be in on this as well, is
Yes.
on that evening, we have an environmental commission meeting as well at 7 o'clock. We can't have two of these meetings at the same time with our Zoom meeting technique. We can't have two webinars like this or meetings like this going on at the same time. So we'll have to discuss what we're going to do there.
Yeah, if we only have that one application, Patrick,
Yes.
it's going to be 5 minutes. So
Yeah.
we probably could, is that enough time, Fred? If we had one.
Absolutely. As long as we're on at 6:30 and we can get out of here by 6:45, the environmental commission is 7. We'll give them a notice saying, hey, if I don't jump on until 10 minutes of 7, realize I just wanted to make it clear that I saw that on the agenda, that it's the same evening. So again, if the sign and review committee has reviewed the application and can be a pretty much, okay, good, I think we'll be fine. I just wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, if not, we'd have to maybe move the meeting to 6 o'clock and make the proper notification. But just looking at the application, I mean, reality is I don't see how it's going to take us that long. Hey, there's the IT guy. He's live. We see him.
He's a real guy.
He's back. The avatar.
Nice job with all the documents, sharing them. It was nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Usually, if we get our own staff doing them, the meeting would have been here till 11 o'clock at night. We have enough hours.
It does make it easier usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a good idea, Anthony. Just bump us up 15 minutes that day, so there's no conflict. Get them taken care of, so we're not delaying them any longer. It'll, like you said, it'll be a 15-minute meeting at max, and maybe us all, if we all can connect at 6:15 as opposed to 6:30, will eliminate the issue.
Yeah, it's just a whole notification process. It sounds easy to just say, oh, we'll just do it at 6:15, but we got to do all the notices. So I'll leave that up to Patrick if you don't think it's that big of a deal, and work with Sarah.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last part.
They wanted to start the meeting at 6:15 versus 6:30.
I'm just suggesting it if that's not an issue, but.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I think at this point, there's two things that we can do. We can amend the calendar or post something in the paper that we're having a different time. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
let's check with Sarah tomorrow to see what's easier. I know it sounds like not a big deal, but it is a little bit of a big deal.
And again, in terms of the IT, as long as we're done by 6:45, I feel confident I can flip over to the Environmental Commission quite quickly without an issue. As long as everybody knows that it's on the back of our mind, we can get through it quick. I don't know that we need to change the time and do the renoticing, but I'll leave that up to you guys.
No, I'm good with that. If you think that's going to work, that's, make it simple.
I'll work on it first thing tomorrow, and then we'll let you guys know, and then we have an idea in place.
Yeah, so I think what they're saying is to leave it at 6:30 if it's only 1 hour.
I would agree with that.
Leave it at 6:30, then we're good. But if we need to go to 6:15, then we need to do additional news stuff.
All right, let's see how many applications are there. We have plenty of time.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay either way. We're a good group and we know what we're doing.
I think in my 16 years, I want to give hats off to Committeeman Wright. I don't think any committee person stuck the entire meeting. They usually swear us in and they're gone. Then we don't see them until the next year, Jeff. So
it was an exciting meeting. So.
Thanks for that.
Well, technically, we already got done our applications for all of last year.
Exactly. This is the longest meeting we've ever had, Jeff. 4 applications. And they complain me because I started this committee back when I was on the committee so the guys wouldn't have that. Just so you know, Jeff, we started this sign review committee so business didn't have to spend all the money to the planning board to go back again.
Okay.
And simple. This saves people time, money. So the businesses really like it, and the guys on the call here have great knowledge. So it's really helpful for the.
Anthony, did you start every committee?
Yeah.
You would think that, right?
If I wasn't